The nationwide effort to make sure that Democrats and their potential voters stay fired up and active and engaged in this primary continues around the country, and we want to talk about one particular event in that. Joining us now to do that is Carmen Darland, Vice Chair of the Noble County Democratic Party. Carmen, welcome to the Damage Report.
Thank you for having me.
Glad to have you here and excited to talk about your event. So you are lead organizer for the Tri-State Cornfield Conference. I'm going to admit I'm not actually familiar with a cornfield conference. Can you explain it to me in the audience?
Yes, Cornfield Conference is something specific to the history of Indiana. Back in 1936, when FDR won, the Republican Party was pretty much out of existence. So in 1938, they did a Cornfield Conference, and really that re-energized the National Democrats for years, or excuse me, Republicans for years to come. And so given the situation that we're in now here in the Midwest, where in 2016, Trump carried Indiana by a larger amount than expected, then carried Ohio, the swing state, and then surprisingly carried Michigan. That combined with super minorities that the Republicans have in places like Indiana, now is the time that we need a Democratic revival here in the Midwest. And this Cornfield Conference is intended to fire people up and get them involved in the 2020 election.
Okay, so how do you accomplish that? What's going to be taking place at the event that's going to help to energize people in this region?
So the event happens on Saturday, June 29th. We're doing 3 sections of work. The first is issues-based. So we're going to be having folks like David Green from Lordstown, from the UAW organization there, coming to talk about the story of the workers in Lordstown. We're going to have a climatologist from Illinois State University to talk about the most pressing issue of this election and probably our time, which is climate change. We're having Dr. Jonathan Walker come talk about Medicare for all. There are many, many other issues that I would encourage people to go to our Facebook page at 2019 Cornfield Conference and read them. These are the issues of this election and of our time that we're going to be discussing. In addition to that, we are working with the toolbox, what tools activists need to get in the game. We can't wish Donald Trump away. We're going to have to beat him in an election. And to beat somebody in an election, we need to do everything from a logistical standpoint to make that possible. And so we need activists to go past voting. Voting is not enough. We need voting plus. We need them to do the next thing. You know, in Indiana, that's things like collecting petition signatures. The election has already started here. We have to be collecting the petition signatures now, which the forms came out a few days ago, and they get turned in January. That's before the Iowa caucus even occurs. Mm-hmm. The election is live. The election is now, and we have to go.
So if someone is interested in following along or possibly going to attend the event, where should they go for more information?
So we're on Facebook. It's at Cornfield Conference, at 2019 Cornfield Conference on Facebook. You can find the complete list of events and all the information there.
Well, I have a feeling that there's probably going to be a lot of interest. This is obviously an incredibly consequential election, and I want to thank you for making sure that, especially in an incredibly important part of the country, that people are staying engaged on it. Carmen Darland, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
For more political news, breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Damage Report. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.